This is Jegor from Leafcloud, and this is the first live stream in which we are going to start off our series of build it, Dockerize, and deploy, and keep it up. So the concept here is that we are going to build popular software stacks. So think React, Vue, Angular, maybe even Svelte on the front end, or maybe some mobile React Native or Swift, and combine it with popular backend technologies like Django, Spring Boot, Node.js Express or Next, Ruby on Rails, and connect those to popular databases like MySQL, Microsoft SQL, PostgreSQL, and MongoDB, stuff like that. And what I'm going to show you is how to set up those stacks during the build it sessions. We're going to create minimal applications like small API combined with a little list application or a small AI prompt, stuff like that. I'll show you how to build those simple stacks with a minimal application. In the build it sessions, in the Dockerize and deploy sessions, I'm going to show you how to containerize those and deploy them on Kubernetes, or I'm going to show you how to otherwise deploy them using infrastructure as code and pipelines like continuous integration, continuous deployment. And so that's Dockerize and deploy, and then keep it up. We'll focus on testing, also continuous integration and deployment, and monitoring and alerting. So then combining those three sessions, the end product will be a stable, small application using a popular stack, totally ready for production. And the idea is that Build It is more focused on like software engineers, and Dockerize and deploy is somewhere between, it's really like a DevOps thing, somewhere between programmers and system administrators. And keep it up is like also DevOps, but more towards the maintenance and administration, operations side. So that's the concept. And today I'm going to start with setting up a stack. So we're going to start a React project. Connect it to a little Express backend, and we are going to run it on let's see, I think we're going for MySQL. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with setting up a React project. So we go to the React documentation, set up a React project, and we're just going to follow what they say is the way to do it. And we're going to open up the terminal. So I haven't prepared anything. Everything's going to happen live. The only thing I prepared was like an empty user. So I'm not sure if I have npx. So let's create an app. So we don't have that yet. We're going to install npm. Okay, go ahead and install. So now I'm just installing our Node.js toolset. And let's see what's going to happen. So we can either use Next.js, which is a popular framework at the moment. I think Next.js also includes some backend. So Next.js backend. So we could just deploy Next.js and connect it to a database. Let's see. So Next.js connect to database. So I guess MongoDB is popular for it, or MySQL. I was considering using MongoDB because Mongo is kind of how you say this? It feels a bit like a JavaScript native technology, and my colleague just came in. So the idea was that this first session would be kind of a full stack JavaScript app, but I think MySQL is kind of a bit more popular framework, popular database. So we're gonna call this full stack JavaScript. So what happened is that npm installed. Now I'm doing npx create next app, which is going to bootstrap a Next.js app for us. We're gonna call it full stack JavaScript inside of our home directory's development directory. Would you like to use TypeScript for this project? Yeah, fine. ESLint, fine. Tailwind CSS, fine. I haven't used that before. Source directory, yeah, I like that. Experimental app directory, no, I don't want experimental stuff. What import alias would you like configured? I don't know, nothing. Okay. So it's bootstrapping our project. It's installing some dependencies. So React DOM, those are for those are kind of the core React dependencies. Next.js, and it's also installing TypeScript because we asked for it, and some typing that go with that. Tailwind CSS, Post CSS. No, I don't know what that is. Auto prefixer and ESLint config next. Okay, fine. So it created the project. Let's open it in Visual Studio Code. Yeah, trust the authors. So let's see what we have here. So there's a source directory, there's a public directory, there's our node modules directory. The node modules directory contains our dependencies, and there's a readme.md. So let's start up the development server of this by running npm run dev. So unexpected token question mark. Let's see what's going on there. Maybe we're still missing some dependencies. So let's see what they say about that. This happens. Okay, so we need to upgrade Node.js, Ubuntu, upgrade Node.js. So let's see how we should do that. So this, I think, is kind of an outdated way to install Node.js. Use the N module from npm. So we're gonna use npm to upgrade Node. That was the wrong password. one package, added one package and audited 2 packages. So let's see if it's fixed. No, it's not. Let's see what else they say. So sudo n latest. Okay, so we need the n package to update Node.js. Okay, fine. The node command changed location, and the old location may be remembered in your current shell. So let's see what version is currently installed. Version 20. So they changed the versioning. Oh, okay. So it looks, this is a different error, so that's actually kind of good. Let's see if npm install changes anything. Cannot find sem server. I'm just gonna start a new shell, see if that changes anything. npm run dev. There we go. So we needed to open up a fresh shell just to, you know, get our environment variables correct. There we go. So now we are compiling our React application based on Next.js. So Next.js actually includes backend, I think. Yeah, there you go. I think this is kind of a standard backend right there. Index.js is going to be our homepage. And some configuration stuff. Let's see, I'm not super familiar with Next.js, so what I'm looking for right now is so it's compiled successfully. So we're going to want to have a look at like the path configuration of the framework and see how the API connects to that. So they say get started by editing, you know, source pages index.tsx, which is this page that we're looking at. So that's working. Let's just actually also do that because it's kind of nice to you know, have our own page instead of the default page there. We're just gonna, you know, let's remove the contents and main, make our own little div, and we're gonna say hello world, right? World, yeah. Hello world. So I saved it. Now it's gonna recompile, and there you go. Hello world. So that works. We have a document.tsx. So I guess this is the wrapper, and then it has this header. So this is a default kind of header. And from Next.js. We have our styles here. So here we could change the colors. There's a little linear gradient defined. There's this background start and end colors. I don't really see those gradients here. Anyway, so let's have a look at our backend. So this should respond with John Doe. I'm just not sure what the path is on that. So let's have a look. Next.js API paths. So API routes. So this is the first one. So this is, okay, they say this is mapped to API slash. So let's have a look. Slash API 404 slash user.js. Okay. Any file site pages/API. Oh, sorry, pages. No. The following API route. Oh wait, this is the API/star. So it should actually be here. And then user.js returns a JSON. So this is hello.ts. So this should be hello.ts. Is that it? Or JS. If it's compiled. There we go. Hello. Okay, this is the path. That's mapping to this file right there. So if we're going to create a new one, we're just going to create our own API path. So let's actually do like hello database, right? Because we're going to want to set up some kind of database connection. And this is just, okay, so work in progress database connection, right? We're going to go to hello database. And there we go. So we created a new API endpoint, and now we are going to set up a database for this, right? So we want to have a look at what they say themselves. Database. Authentication, other providers. Yeah, we don't really want to do these. So we had this documentation earlier, right, about how to connect Next.js to a database. So we're just going to go there, Next.js connect to MySQL, right? So how to connect to a MySQL database. So this is kind of Mac oriented, but that's okay. So I think I'm just going to start a Dockerized database. So I'm saying Docker start MySQL. It's gonna do like a really simple MySQL instance, and we could also do Docker Compose. But for now, I mean, that's for now not needed. We're just going to do a really simple, so my secret password, yeah, whatever, leave pass, let's go. MySQL, and we're gonna say latest, and we're gonna say you know, webinars, MySQL. We're going to start this. That has to be sudo. So now it's downloading the MySQL image, and it's going to start our database. In the meantime, we are going to want to have a look at these steps for connecting to the database. So it also has some features about authentication, but developing authentication from zero takes too much effort. Okay. API routes Apollo server and client auth. We can clone the project. That's about authorization. It's not really what I'm looking for. I am looking for the database connection itself. What's this serverless MySQL? So we need to install a connection manager. We use the serverless MySQL connection manager. It's a wrapper for the MySQL module. It supports async, await, and monitoring connections. So that sounds good. We're just going to install that from a new terminal. we're going to say npm add dash dash save npm install serverless MySQL. So there we go, it's installed. And then we're going to create a lib/db.js file. So let's create a folder lib. I'm just gonna close this door. And what's that? Is this a directory? No, that's a file. There we go. Okay, mk there, lib. And then there we're going to create the file db.ji. Well, okay, because the example is JavaScript, but we normally use TypeScript in this project. Anyway, I can just call this TS because TypeScript is JavaScript compatible. And I'm not sure why it's complaining about this port. String undefined is not assignable to type number undefined. So, and this is exactly my problem with TypeScript. This is not going to be a string, is it? And oh my god. So I'm gonna have to cast it to an integer. How do you do that again? Int, is that like that? Oh, int 16. So TypeScript cast to integer. Number. So we're just gonna convert it to a number explicitly, I guess, and get rid of the typing problem. More typing problems here. Any type query. Okay, I'm just gonna give it the any type. It doesn't want an any type. Okay, I'm not going to go into these TypeScript typing challenges. Just gonna leave it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as a JavaScript file, not worry about the TypeScript for now. And then it does a db.query on this execute query, then ends the db connection, returns the results. So that's kind of cool. We're going to continue integrating this into our project, following this documentation. So in the nextjs.config file, we're going to add these exports. And this is what we're going to need for our database connection. So let's have a look at our deployment. So yeah, it's running. It's running at 33,060, I guess. And okay, so is that the standard port? Yeah, that's the standard port. Database name. What was the database name again that we gave? Webinars MySQL. Not sure what the default database name is. Let's go back to the Docker. Instructions for that. Let's actually create a database. So we're going to connect. We deployed this. this is going to allow us to run SQL statements against our database server. So we actually need that to connect network, some network. I'm not sure what network we need. Does this work? No. Network, some network not found. So I'm not sure what network it expects. Thinking that maybe I will just bash into it. Bash into the container itself. Docker exec -it. Let's have a look at the container itself. Bash. So let's see if we can run MySQL. Access denied. Using password, no, because we said leave pass is our password, right? So we're gonna want to pass the password. How do we do that again? -p. What? And we're in. So we're gonna say create db next. So Fullstack JS. And this is going to, what? Oh. Wait, what was the command again? Create db. Oh, sorry, create database, right. Grant all privileges. Okay, let's create a new user. That's a good idea, actually. So we're gonna say, you know, I don't know, React or Fullstack JS. This is going to grant all privileges, but this is just a development environment, so we're not gonna worry too much about it. What? Sorry, this is wrong. I'm confused. If we copy this literally, does it work? No. This is wrong. The instruction is wrong. Okay. So I first want to create a user. Now they want me. Now then they got me. But let's just maybe first create the database, and then we are going to create a user and give that authentication for it. Right? So create database, Fullstack JS. Okay, that's created. I'm just gonna use the default settings for it. We're not gonna, yeah, right. Create user. Why didn't they just? Anyway, create user. Of course, let's do that. So Fullstack JS authentication plugin not loaded. So that has to do with our Docker deployment. All right. You know what? This is not for today. This kind of stuff we're going to do at Dockerize and deploy and keep it up. We're just going to leave it at this. We have a database that we can use. We have the root user that we can use. We're just going to use that in our dev environment locally. So we're going to configure this database. We're going to configure this user and password for it. And that's it. That should be our database connection right there. Back to the documentation of how to connect Next.js to a MySQL database. There we go. It's this. So we did this. That's configured. And check that the app is connected to the database. Import the execute query from db.js and call it in the create user function. So we're just gonna copy paste this and create like a sign up JS file. So the hello database. Just gonna do sign up like they did. Sign up.js. So we're kind of mixing JavaScript and TypeScript here. I hope that's not gonna give our compiler problems. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to like call it TS. Run dev. So function create user into users. We don't have the table users yet, so we're going to have to create that table. And we're gonna do create table. Create, so use Fullstack JS. Create table users. We have to add columns to it. So create table statement. I'm just going to create a table with some columns. So let's do exactly what this tutorial expects. So there's an ID field with type primary key. So person ID. So create table primary key. So ID int not null primary key, right? Then we're going to add something similar to this. So he's looking for created at date, time, email, which is a varchar. Varchar 45 is chosen. 45, not null, unique, hash, which is a varchar of 255 characters. Then we have salt. Salt for what? We're gonna encrypt something. Varchar 45. Then I hope that's it. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. We have our table. So let's see if we can create a user. So right now there should be a sign up API that actually is able to create a user, and it's going to use these values. So I think it actually accepts these parameters, I guess. So let's see. If we go to the create user API endpoint, so we started the React project already, and now we are going to go to the localhost / so hello database is not, we're not going to use that anymore. Now we have a sign up page. Module not found. So we have to install the UUID module. Which is just npm install -- save UUID. There we go. So let's just close it and run again and see if it crashes. So what module is not found right now? Execute query from point / db. So it cannot find our db file because it's in a different location. So it's not actually expecting the it's not actually connecting to the lib directory. So this is in the wrong location, I guess. And we don't actually want it in pages. So this is a piece of next configuration that's different. Let's see what we have of like configuration files. lib.db.js. Do you see that? It's actually included. When did this? I didn't do that. Maybe it should be in the source directory. Let's try that. So refresh. Nope. /db lib. It's just I didn't add this here. How did this end up here? lib/db.js. I think it's inside of pages. Just gonna like module not found, lib/db.js, next.js. Let's see what people say about that. So I'm just kind of looking for how to import that. And this is, I think, has something to do with our Webpack configuration. That makes sense. Oh, whoops. Webpack configuration. This is about the FS import. I don't think that's a... Do you think we need to add this in next to JS config, because we don't have any Webpack config there yet? So maybe. Do we need to move this back to the root? Didn't find it. So how are we going to solve this? So would have been great. I mean, we could just put this somewhere where it can actually find it. This DB. So we have signup.js /db, because that file was not found. But this is actually in the current directory. My colleagues are talking loud. So I'm starting to get a bit confused about this. Yeah, this has to do with the project setup, right? Maybe pages is the wrong place. I'm just gonna put it directly in source, see what that does. Yeah, it's found. Now it went on to the next problem. So just gonna, lib is kind of a dumb name anyway. So, okay. We need to install moment. npm install --save moment. So what just happened is that we fixed the problem. db.js needed to be in the source directory. I think we might not need this piece of config. Let's try that out. run dev. Just gonna reload this. There is an error, but it's a different error. Resolver is not a function. Okay. Type error. Ah, man, TypeScript. Resolver is not a function. This happened generating the page. Any console logs. Okay, so is there resolver here? No. And in our API, so /db sign up. So let's just see if like the /hello still works, just to, you know, kind of a sanity check. Hello, yeah, that works. Database, yeah, those work. Sign up doesn't work. So the problem is with our sign up. File, so basically maybe it's not right, so it's not actually working in the same way. We don't have, like, we didn't have a next API request and response, so I'm not sure what the idea was of this tutorial that we were following, which I can't find anymore. Next.js to database. But we can, let's have a look what they meant. So there's this handle submit. So we copied this, we did this, we copied this, but that doesn't actually, it's not actually runnable. That's a bit weird. I'd suggest we follow the same okay, so there's this export default function. So let's have a look at the Next.js. Port API. So I guess maybe we can export multiple endpoints there. So Next.js creating API endpoints, export default. So I'm just thinking, do we want to use the, so export default, we know it works. But maybe we don't want to export on default, although it seems fine to me. Just thinking, could we do like multiple exports in a single file, because that's kind of what this tutorial was suggesting. Although that's not what the Next.js documentation is showing us right now. So I guess we're just going to say export default async function, and they call it handler. And this find user stuff is just going to have to go into a different file. So I'm just going to make a new file, find user.js. We're going to make that similar. Export default function handler. There we go. Then we have a sign up, and here we are going to try to sign up. So the password argument must be of type string, right? So we're going to say email equals Jegor at Leafcloud, and password equals leafpass, right? And then I wonder, so I think that these arguments weren't passed. Password. So now we have to check how to pass arguments to Next.js. Passing arguments to Next.js API. Query parameters. Need dynamic name. So you need to specify a page file for the user's details view, right? And then so slash. Okay, so this is how that works. Apparently it needs to be the name of the file. Seriously? I'm not sure I super agree to this. Let's have a look here. Products.js. So I think I'm just gonna go this route. I don't like these. I don't really like this. So I'm just gonna do this. At least for this type of functionality. We're just gonna say that we are going to get the request and response. We're just going to take the email and password from there. So let's see if that works. What's happening? API handler should not return a value received object. API resolved without sending a response. So rest dot. Okay. User, maybe something like that. So I guess it's like rest dot. Send rest.json maybe. Makes sense. Connection refused. So it's saying connection refused to this local port. Maybe it's the wrong port. Hey, this looks good. It's working. So now we have created a user, it seems. So we're just going to go back to our database. We're going to say select star from users empty set. So it says connection refused to the database. So I guess we're not actually connecting to our database, our Dockerized database deployment. So let's go to the Docker deployment. Let's go back to the documentation of that. So we were looking at this, and apparently it's not accepting connections on the local port that we configured it to. So I guess we're just going to have to expose the port, expose port docker run. Right, expose. So just gonna sudo docker ps. Just want to have a look. So we ran it like this. Now we're going to say dash export expose 3306. Wait, wrong one. Expose 3306. Now I hope it didn't delete the it won't delete the original. Okay, so docker. So I want to expose, so maybe I should just stop it first. So expose port on existing container. Okay, that's not possible, so we have to remove it. And recreate it. I just hope, yeah, I don't think we're gonna still have our database there, so. Docker ps. Hey, it didn't start. Oh, okay, Docker start. It's not actually starting. Docker ps, and it's gone. And we are out of time. So next time we're going to continue with deploying MySQL more properly. What did we learn today? We learned to set up a React project with the Next.js backend, how to create a database connection there, how to configure that with their environment variables, and how to create a table in MySQL, create a database in MySQL, create a user in MySQL, and how to create an API endpoint that can sign up a user, hash his password, and insert it into the database. My colleagues are giving me coffee. So what do we still need to do? We need to configure our Dockerized MySQL deployment. So we also learned how to start MySQL using Docker. The only thing left there is to actually expose the port. So it's currently refusing the connection. That's just because we didn't expose that port. And that's it. That's the entire stack right there. So React, Next.js, and MySQL. And next time I'm going to show you how to deploy that into an actual cloud infrastructure. All right, see you.